Less than 7% of federal workers are under the age of 30. And hiring younger workers is a big priority for many agencies. But a recently published report finds some federal practices are discouraging many young people from even applying for government jobs. Sydney Heimbrock is Chief Industry Advisor for Government at Qualtrics, the company that authored that report. Sydney, welcome.
Thank you.
So what were the top reasons that the people you surveyed said that they did not want to apply for federal jobs?
Yeah, believe it or we were stunned because believe it or not, people in college, currently in college or recently graduated from college actually believe they're not qualified for federal jobs.
You know, that's interesting because one of the recommendations that you make in the report is to, quote, advertise jobs by skills,
yes,
not by years of experience.
Exactly.
Explain that. Explain the difference.
So years of experience is very confusing for someone who's just coming out of college or recently out of college. When you look at the job announcement and it says you must have a 4-year degree or equivalent experience to the next lower grade. First of all, nobody understands what that means. And second of all, putting myself in a student's shoes, well, I haven't had a job yet. So how can I possibly have the years of experience, right? Maybe I've had a summer internship, but that's not years of experience. So it's like a catch-22.
So you're saying they should write the actual skills that they're looking for instead?
Exactly. So 70% of federal jobs do not require a 4-year degree. And what that means is they require skills. Now, more and more people are choosing to go to technical colleges, certification programs, where you can actually prove that you have the skills required for a job. The problem is those very people who we're trying to bring in, community colleges and technical vocational schools tend to have a higher proportion of diverse student body. We're trying to diversify the workforce, right? And yet, when they go to USA Jobs and look at a job announcement, what they see is a degree program requirement, which isn't really required, or years of experience. So again, it's just very confusing for people. And we know that the digital generation is impatient, and they will look at that 30 seconds later, they'll abandon.
Speaking of impatience, I was surprised to find that the average time for hire is 98 days for federal employees.
Yes.
That's a long time. The students don't have that kind of time.
Yes.
You know, and especially if they've got loans that they've got to pay, they're not going to wait for over 3 months to start working.
Exactly. And the private sector has done interesting things to accelerate the process. There are federal agencies that have actually been able to get the hiring timeframes down by being creative and forward planning. So for example, if you know, it's well known, the security requirements for federal jobs require due diligent security investigations.
I mean, that makes sense. If it's a security clearance, that's going to take time.
Because we're putting trust in our federal employees. So, everybody understands that. Why can't you bring the security team in from the beginning so they're set up to run those required processes earlier in the game, right? And that can streamline things significantly.
So what is it that recent graduates and students are really looking for in work, and how can the federal government kind of address that?
Yeah, so very interestingly, for both students and recent grads, work-life balance is the #1 thing they are looking for. For recent grads, in addition, they're looking for flexibilities, so workplace flexibilities. They're also looking for job security. Okay, that's great, right? Public employment tends to be a more secure career. For students, in addition to work-life balance, they're looking for pay and compensation that's competitive, and they're looking for meaningful work. So again, we go back to the job announcements. How can we recraft job announcements to be exciting, to be mission-oriented? Because being a public servant, in my opinion, is the best career choice anyone can make, contributing to the security and development of your own country. It doesn't get any better than that. So why can't we make that excitement part of what people see when they land on the job announcement?
And you talked about diversity and minority students. That's a big push for the administration to bring more diverse workforce into the federal government. Give me some specific examples of things that can be done to address that.
Yeah, very simple steps from the very beginning. Recruitment fairs, we need to bring in leaders and hiring managers who reflect the diversity of the workforce we're trying to attract. Because it's proven that people are more interested in an organization where they can see themselves reflected in the career path that they're going for, right? And if you've got, pardon, but if you've got older white guys at your recruitment fair, there's a problem. People can't recognize themselves there. Another really interesting strategy would be to take names off of resumes when reviewing the resumes. And again, there's a lot of evidence that that makes the diverse candidate pool more competitive, frankly, in the assessment process. Again, very simple steps that don't require regulatory change. They don't require big process improvement initiatives. It's just thinking about it. And that's really what I hope that this report will do for people, is get them to think, okay, this is a problem. And in fact, it's an urgent problem, to your point, about 7% of the workforce being under 30. We have a crisis on our hands.
And I certainly hope that turns around soon. Sydney, thanks so much for being on the program.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any future Government Matters interviews.